the world is too accessible. You are not going to survive in a cash-based world if you think that you're going to be the jack of all trades. You need to master certain skills or a certain patient type. You need to find your niche. And what a niche is really just having a mastery in something.
Welcome to the Dr. J.J. Thomas Podcast.
Welcome to the Dr. J.J. Thomas Podcast. I am your host, Dr. J.J. Thomas. Very happy to be here with you today. I'm excited. We are going to talk about finding a niche in your cash-based practice that's going to help you grow your business by 6 and 7 figures. I get this question a lot. People are like, JJ, what education, what con ed should I take? I'm really trying to boost the people that are coming to me. I'm trying to get more patients to come in the door. Tell me what I should take con ed wise. It's always a funny question because they're looking for a niche, right? People find that if you have a niche, it's going to make you more valuable. It's going to make you more appealing for someone to come to. And that is 100% true. But you have to find your own niche. And so today's episode, I'm going to talk with you a little bit about how I found my own niche. I don't even know how to say it. And hopefully that information, I can help you find your own niche. And so those of you that know me probably know me as a dry needling expert, right? And so around here in the community, I'll be at a barbecue and I'll be like, oh, I'm JJ. And they'll be like, oh, you're that needler. Like, yes, I'm the needler who also happens to be a physical therapist. When people first started saying it, I think I was like, a little bit like, oh God, they think all I do is needle. But then I realized dry needling, being an expert in dry needling is really one of the things that sets me apart from other people. But I know, and they learn as soon as they come to see me, that I have a whole lot of other tools that make me a great clinician. It just so happens that my niche as an expert dry needler is oftentimes the reason people think they come to see me. And so what we'll find after I tell you my story is the reasons people think they come to see me and the reasons they discover they've come to see me aren't always the same. But a little bit more about my niche and how I fell into it. I like to say, my niche found me, really. If we talk about, let's just back up a second for those of you that haven't been exposed a lot to dry needling yet. And let's just talk about what it is. Dry needling is something, we're going to talk about what it is as a tool first. Essentially, it's really the single most tool in 23 years that I've found that offers the fastest neuromusculoskeletal reset in muscle. And so with that, we've seen, research has shown, we get a structural, electrical, and biochemical change in muscle when we use a dry needle to affect muscle tissue, or the neuromusculoskeletal system, if you will. And so by that, is it a very effective tool. And furthermore, it's helped me hone in on my skills as a therapist in a way that has advanced my career tremendously. So dry needling as the tool absolutely has expanded my practice, and having it as a niche has made me really stand out amongst other people around me. But like I say, I didn't really discover dry needling as much as it discovered me. And I'm going to explain to you why. Let me tell you my story of when I first started dry needling. So I've been a therapist since 2000. And when I first started in therapy, I was always a very hands-on manual therapist, but I worked under my mentor who also did a lot of aquatic therapy. And the way we did aquatic therapy was we were in a warm water pool environment, and we would do manual skills in the water, but then we would reinforce any gains that we wanted to make manually with exercise with the water as a medium, either for supportive assistance or resistance, whatever it was. But so the water became a tool. And in this is part of what started my passion for analyzing movement and analyzing how we can alter movement based on different inputs that we give the body. Anyway, in 2009, I was given a patient from actually my mentor, and he said, listen, when I work on this guy, needling, I hadn't been exposed to dry needling yet. And he gave me this patient, he said, when I work on this guy's shoulder, this guy, let me tell you his history. He had 9 surgeries. He had seen at least 9 different doctors. He was an avid wasn't that old. He was like low 50s, maybe upper 40s, really avid fisherman, really active guy, pretty healthy, exercised, but people couldn't get him better. And he had like rotator cuff pain, like impingement type pain. And anyway, so my mentor sent it to me. He said, JJ, when I release his muscle, when I release his trigger points with my hands, I can get him 24 hours relief. But it comes right back. I can't seem to fix it. Maybe if we do it in the pool and you release those trigger points and then right away we reinforce it with the medium of the water and we get the whole body involved, then we can get it to stay. So I'm like, awesome, I'm game. So we did it. And first couple of visits, he got 2 days relief. And I'm like, yes, we're on the right track. Well, 8 visits later, I could not get him past that 2-day threshold. I'm like, crap, I got to do something for this guy. What am I going to do? He'd already seen my mentor, who I really respected and valued. He'd already seen other physical therapists in the community that I also knew were like game changers for people. So I felt like, and I literally had doctors say, I don't want to see him anymore. I don't know what to do with him. I felt like I owed it to this guy to find an answer. So I called my friend in Atlanta at the time. We went to PT school together. I said, listen to this patient scenario. Any ideas for me? She said, have you tried dry needling? So there you have it. So dry needling found me because of my passion for helping patients and more importantly, my passion for understanding movement and how we can alter movement based on our interventions. And so right away, 2009, I flew out to my first course in Colorado and I did a double certification in dry needling because I was like, well, crap, this is some pretty crazy stuff and no one around me is doing it. So I better figure it out. So I did a double certification through what was then Kineticor and Myopain Seminars, which is still Myopain Seminars. And that double certification helped me on this track of really mastering the art of dry needling, which is really more about, for me at this point, the art and science of understanding movement and how we can affect movement based on our input as therapists. And so that's how I got into dry needling. And really from that first course out in Colorado, immediately I could see changes, literally immediately, just from our working with each other in that class. We would test, retest. That's where all my hang-ups about test, retest, that's where it all started, because now all of a sudden I had this tool that really effectively gave me a positive test, retest value to the point where now, if I have a theory that something's involved, that a certain muscle group is involved, if I treat it and it doesn't respond, I usually am thinking I didn't treat the right area because I've become that good at it, quite honestly. So having that confidence in my own ability has fed my practice, and really that comes from that original discovery of this niche market, if you will. But as I said, it found me, and it found me because of my passion for movement, and my passion for understanding the puzzle of the body. So while the niche is dry needling, the sort of underlying driver of that niche really came down to my passion for understanding movement and understanding how we can affect movement with really, really effective tools. So as I said, while patients think they come to me for dry needling, oftentimes they discover when they come to me that I think my true niche is really my ability to analyze movement. It's just that this tool that I happen to be an expert in gives me the ability to do that very effectively. So if I want to help you find your niche, I think the best way we can do that is for you to self-reflect and ask yourself, what things drive you? What passions do you have in your practice that will really expose what's so exciting to you that you're going to become an expert in it? Because that's what it's about, really. It's about mastery. Patients, the days are way over where patients want somebody who's a jack of all trades and master of none. The world is too accessible. You are not going to survive in a cash-based world if you think that you're going to be the jack of all trades. You need to master certain skills or a certain patient type. You need to find your niche. And what a niche is really just having a mastery in something. So I encourage you to ask yourself, what is it that you're passionate about? If you're still like, JJ, gosh, I don't really know. I'm going to ask you to ask these things to yourself. Number one, what do you find yourself reading when in your free time? What articles are you drawn to? Are you drawn to an article about a particular sport? Are you drawn to a particular research article about a particular joint or a particular type of like a tendinitis or a tendinopathy, or maybe it's chronic pain, or maybe it's pain neuroscience, whatever it is. Whatever you find yourself reaching for, those articles that you end up reaching for to understand more about, that's your first clue of where you're going to find your niche, is where are you drawn to learn more? Because the more you learn, the more you're going to achieve mastery. And that's going to be a niche that no one else can touch, because not every single person is going to have the same mastery or same passion. So if you just grab onto what you're passionate about and turn it into your own niche, then you're going to find it's very valuable for your practice. I'm going to give the alternative to that. Imagine, this is what I see therapists doing a lot, is they ask me, oh, what should I study, JJ? What do people want? Like, people are asking me, what are patients looking for? My answer used to be, well, try this. This is a really cool technique that's new and innovative. This research is showing this. It used to be that. It still is at times. But really what I've realized is actually what patients want is for you to give 120% to them. And so if you figure out your niche and you market to that group of people, then you're going to give them 120% every single time. And you're going to know that niche so well in and out that you're going to be able to serve them the way they deserve it. So instead of chasing the fad, instead of chasing where you think research is going, chase your passion. Figure out what your passion is. So you can discover that, number one, by figuring out what you're reading, what you're picking up in your free time. Another question you can ask yourself is, when you look at your schedule, you have, anywhere from 7 to 20, if you're in an insurance-based world, patients on your schedule. Which ones do you find you're getting excited to work with, right? It might be a certain sport. It might be a certain age bracket. It might be a certain injury. Like I myself recently had an ACL reconstruction, and I do feel like I get really excited now to work with those patients in addition to all my movement assessment patients, because I have a different vantage point. I now feel like I have more mastery over that, having been through it myself. So maybe you've had an injury where you feel like, you know what, I can really help this person because I absolutely 100% have experienced this and can look at it from a different vantage point. I'm an expert. I've mastered it, rather than aiming for the low fruit, which is mastering nothing. People will feel when you have mastery. So my suggestion is figure out what your passion is. Spend every waking moment you can learning about that. Become a master in it yourself, and others will view you for that niche, for that mastery that you've now attained, because you've put the time into that and focused your attention into that versus spreading yourself too thin and trying to cover too big of a market. One other thing that might help you figure out what your niche could be, or what you're drawn to, what you're passionate about, that's where your niche is going to be found, is I thought of another time where, as I said, my niche, my perceived niche is dry needling, and I am a dry needling expert. But what I understand because of my passion is that mastery of dry needling has really allowed me to feed my passion of analyzing movement. And what's interesting is when I was preparing for this episode and thinking about what really drew me to mastery of that skill, it really goes way back to even when I first applied to PT school back in, it was probably 98 by then, because I got an early decision at Delaware. So it was probably 1998. Oh God, I'm dating myself. But anyway, the application asked for, it was an essay, and it asked for, it wanted me to explain the reasons behind why I wanted to be a therapist. And I remember really thinking long and hard about that, because it was an important essay, right? And really what I said is still true to this day. It's that I love the puzzle of helping get to the bottom of someone's injury and helping them get back to doing what they love. And so that passion that I had way back then is still driving my decisions for mastery today. Every single choice I make, every single article I read, every single course I go to is feeding that passion, which is allowing me to master that art, that science of becoming a better movement analyst. And so, as I said, yours may not be exactly that. It probably isn't. Yours is going to be something that's important to you based on your history, based on your experiences. And so all I can ask you to do is to soul search a little bit and discover ask yourself, what got you into physical therapy in the first place? And from there, I'm guessing you'll reveal why. If you can reveal to yourself why you got into physical therapy in the first place, you're probably going to reveal a passion you have. Take that passion, turn it into your niche. Stop wasting time looking for the next big thing, looking for what all your friends are doing. Don't look outside, look within. And you're going to find that if you put concerted effort into what your passion is, you're going to put the output you give is going to be pure and amazing. And it will show in the way that you treat your patients and in your results with your patients. So that's it. This one was fairly quick, but as I said, I think it's a really important thing. I get this question a ton. Everyone always wants to know where to put their efforts. And my answer is, put your efforts where your passion is. It will come out in the way you work with your patients, the way your patients are getting better, and save your energy and time for those things. And you're going to have results both in your patients and in your practice. I always enjoy my time with you guys. I'm Dr. JJ Thomas. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to hear more, always like and subscribe to our channel. But also, if you find yourself in this area of passion like dry needling or movement assessment that happens to be like what we do, go ahead over to our website, primalhq.com and primalphysicaltherapy.com, and learn more about our events and courses. Take care.